And good evening, everyone, from Bolero Mount Prospect. This is the fourth squad of the fifth weekend of the 2025 PBA LBC National Championships. I'm $2 Phil Brylow taking you through tonight's squad, taking you through the rest of the weekend tomorrow with Matt Russo in the booth. We'll be watching Matt Russo and his lovely bride, Lauren, on the lanes tonight. And then there's 2 more weekends of competition remaining. Still your chance to get in and take down some of the hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash prizes available to the participants in this PBA LBC National Championships. Glad to have people join us on a Saturday night. No better place to watch some of the PBA Tour's rising stars other than right here on PBA YouTube. 5 PBA exempt players on this squad, a PWBA star on this squad, several regional superstars on this squad, and still a lot of players throughout all of our divisions. Eight divisions in total, PBA exempt. All those PBA exempt players are in their own division. Open Classic division for those that want to take the big challenge with their scratch scores. The Women's Classic and Senior Classic divisions. And then for bowlers who don't have the higher averages, we have the men's and women's handicap divisions, along with the boys junior and girls junior handicap divisions. So bowlers have about 6 minutes of practice remaining. We'll introduce you to all players on this squad. And don't forget, you can watch every frame, every game, every squad, all the way through the PBA LBC National Championships for free on PBA YouTube. And my suggestion is, let's say you want to watch Patrick Dumbrowski all the way through. He's starting on 11 and 12. If you go in the description below the video you're watching, if you're watching it on your laptop or your home computer, you can open a second tab from the pairs in play feeds on the description underneath the video that you're watching. Open up that second tab for lanes 11 through 14. And keep us on here in the main feed for your audio part of the programming, as we'll follow hot hands on the squad. We'll follow bowlers chasing perfection and give you other PBA LBC National Championships information. And you can watch your favorite player every game. We'll also give you the updates here in the main feed if you're watching a pair feed at the same time, how many pairs players move after each game is complete, as they will cross the entire center here at Bolero Mount Prospect during their 6 games of qualifying for the PBA LBC National Championships. And once again, this is these players one chance this year. You get one chance and one chance only here in the PBA LBC National Championships. Try to take down the title in your respective division. And if you win one of those 8 divisional titles, you're going to be invited back for the PBA LBC National Championships Clash. Date of and site of to be announced in a short period of time. There you see Eric Jones, PBA exempt player. There you see Lauren Russo, PWBA player. And Matt Russo getting ready to step up on lane 31. Here's Dio Bernard. Dio bowling with his dad, Rick. On lanes 25 and 26. So we'll have to see if Dio pulls another trick out of his bag if he's not happy with that left side ball reaction. We saw him do that at a PBA Midwest Regional back on Memorial Day weekend. He's not afraid to go to that right-handed hook or the AKA backup ball if that's what is needed to keep the scoring pace high. And over 21 and 22. As Bailey Maverick see him step up shortly in the lighter colored jersey.
Bowlers, this is your 2-minute warning. 2.
With the black accents. And those are your 5 PBA exempt players on the squad. Most we've had to this point on the squad. And there are still a lot of PBA exempt players you could have your chance to bowl with running through the rest of this event. We'll go through that list of players and when they're bowling. You can be lucky enough to be on a pair with them. Hey, you might even, if you get in on League Pals quick enough, you might even be able to have them as a doubles partner or part of a 4-player team. So the last couple of shots of practice, and we will get into our player introductions momentarily. Stop! Reminds me of a cartoon waiting for Bugs Bunny to hold that sign in front of everybody. When Elmer Fudd was chasing him. Whoa, whap it.
League bowlers, your 10 minutes of practice is now complete. Before we get started, a reminder that when everyone on your pair is finished with each game, please make sure to hit the space bar to move your scores to the next pair. All right, let's give these competitors a nice round of applause. All right, everyone, good luck and good scoring.
So let's start you off here on pairs 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. We have PBA Central Regional Manager Bobby Jekyll bowling with Nina Asbury, Tricia Jekyll, and Wayne Nasi. Jekyll, an accomplished bowler in his own right, bowling in the Senior Classic Division. Nina bowling in the Women's Handicap Division. Nina comes in with an average of 199. Tricia Jekyll, 174 average in the Women's Handicap Division, and Wayne Nasi in the Senior Classic Division. Over on 5 and 6, Mike Hermosillo, Jennifer Nush, Jason Surges, and Janet Kulowitz. As Hermosillo, local bowler, does a lot of his stuff at Strike and Spare 2 in nearby Lockport, Illinois. Hermosillo bowling in the Senior Classic Division. Jason Surges in the Men's Handicap Division, coming in with a 194 average. Jennifer Nush in the Women's Handicap Division, coming in with a 190 average. And Hermosillo can't get the lean on the 4. And Janet Kulovitz in the Women's Handicap Division, coming in with a 199 average. Hermosillo knew it as soon as he let it go. It was going to be trouble, and missed the 4-pin. Seven and 8 not in play on this squad, slightly smaller than sold out. Going to be the case tomorrow, as we're going to have a full field here for that 11 a.m. squad. So over on 9 and 10, we have Paul Columbani, Tom Bobko, David Kufal, and Jason Butzer. Columbani in the Men's Handicap Division, coming in with a 203 average. Kufal in the Senior Classic Division. Bobko coming in, I don't know about this. He says he's in the Men's Handicap Division at 226. We'll have to double check on that. It's an option bowlers can take. He's not getting any pins of handicap because they based it off of 220. So I think you'd want to be in the Open Classic Division shooting at 25,000 instead of 5,000. And Jason Butzer in the Open Classic Division. And it looks like we have a late scratch on this pair. No Jason Butzer. Hope everything is all right for Butzer. Let's get over to 11 through 14. Brandon Casper, PBA exempt player Patrick Dumbrowski. Aston Casper, Glenn Casper, your bowlers. So Dumbrowski and 3 Caspers. Casper, the Brandon variety in the Open Classic Division. Same for the Aston variety. And the Glenn variety is in the Open Classic Division as well. Over on 13 and 14, Alan Pekka, Mike Kulbada, Tristan McClure, Lance Neeland at your foursome on 13 and 14. Pekka in the Open Classic Division. Kulbada in the Men's Handicap Division, coming in at a 191 average. McClure in the Open Classic Division. And Neeland in the Open Classic Division as well. Once again, Dumbrowski and the other 4 PBA exempt players in their own division in this event. So even though Casper cubed is on the same pair with Dumbrowski, they are not competing in any way, shape, or form against the man who loves a few roller coasters between bowling squads. Saw yesterday that Dumbrowski took the trip up to Six Flags Great America, and I think he rode every roller coaster, he said, in under 4 hours. Sometimes you can take advantage of that weekday morning and really get through a lot of rides in a short period of time. Right now, leading the PBA exempt division, EJ Tack had put up a 1450 6-game total last Saturday afternoon. That's the number all these PBA exempt players are shooting for to try to get their bid into the LBC National Championships clash. And Dumbrowski front four. Let's get to our next pairings on 15 through 18. On 15 and 16, Latasha Cole, Erica Wanchin, Robert Lucas, David Andrews. Erica Wanchin in the women's handicap division. Latisha Cole in the women's classic division. Robert Lucas, open classic division. And David Andrews in that same open classic division. 17-18, Jason Owens, Jonathan Whitsett, Daniel Williams Jr., and Stephen Cordish III. Owens in the open classic division, Whitsett in the men's handicap division, Williams Jr. in the handicap division, and Cordish in the open classic division. And as we pass the halfway point in the house, (19 and 20) not in play on this squad. I just peeked in the chat. John Herman, you're a good one. That's a good one about Bobby Jekyll. Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about Jekyll throwing overhand. I think the only thing we have to worry about in the greater Mount Prospect area tonight is what late night buffet he may tear up. As Bobby Jekyll is a big man with a compassionate heart. Just don't try to ever take advantage of that. So, Michael, this event is at Bolero Mount Prospect in Mount Prospect, Illinois. We're just to the northeast of O'Hare Airport. Be about a 20-minute Uber ride from O'Hare to here. Let's get you over to 21 and 22. There you see Bailey Maverick. Double spared double for Maverick through 5. Maverick PBA exempt player bowling with Chris Bauer, Noel McElroy, and Chris Moxley. Moxley in the senior classic division, McElroy in the open classic division, and Bauer in the open classic division as well. And don't forget, here in the main feed, we're just bringing you the hot hands, players chasing big games, players chasing the lead in the event. You're able to watch every pair in play through those various channel feeds on the PBA YouTube channel. We'll keep proceeding through our bowlers on this 7 p.m. local, 8 p.m. Eastern roster. On 23 and 24, we have Michael Klingenberg, William Simmons, Ryan Dakota, and Anthony Loonsfoot. Loonsfoot in the men's handicap division coming in at a 182 average. Dakota in the men's handicap division coming in at 175. Klingenberg in the open classic division. And Simmons coming in the men's handicap division at 187. At 25 and 26, Gavin Neal, PBA 50 player Rick Bernard, PBA exempt player Dio Bernard, and Jackson Coy. Your 4 players on 25 and 26. Rick Bernard in the senior classic division. Jackson Coy in the Open Classic Division, and Gavin Neal in the Boys Junior Handicap Division. He's coming in with a 162 average, and Gavin off to a good start here in game one. Looking to pass his average up by the 8th frame at the pace he's running. Going to be interested to see what side of the lane Dio Bernard's rolling it on. As we mentioned before, he can go to the backup ball, the hook from the right side of the lane, if need be, if he's not happy with his left side lane reaction. And whatever ball reaction he has right now, he's not happy with it. 75 in the 5th, working on a spare, yet to strike with the lights on. And he's throwing the backup ball off the right side. There's 10 back for Dio. Overdue 27 through 30 on 27 and 28. We have Kevin Payne, Land Mathis, and Cameron Smee. Matthews in the Open Classic Division, Smee in the Open Classic Division, and Payne in the Open Classic Division as well. Over on 29-30, Charles Albrecht, Cameron Johnson, PBA exempt player Eric Jones, Gene Perez, a late scratch, the PBA Central region solid player. That's putting it mildly for Perez. Hopefully all is well with the Perez family, as Eric Jones put a max of 225 on the board with the 9th and 10th frames in the PBA exempt division. Albrecht in the Open Classic Division. Cameron Johnson in the men's handicap division coming in at 193. There's a run at the men's handicap division. The last squad. Terrence Snell fell just a little short in game 6 of taking over that lead that was posted by Robert Morris back in week 1, that 15:02 score. Almost taken down by Snell, but a bad game 6 leaves Morris in the number 1 spot for the moment. But with one more squad bowling tomorrow and 6 more squads remaining in this event, any and all division leads are up for grabs for all 8 divisions. And Eric Jones needed the 70-foot lane on that shot. Not going to happen. 3 of our 5 PBA exempt players on this squad left-handed, with Dio Bernard, Eric Jones, and now Matt Russo. And nobody on the left side really firing them up in game 1 for those left-handed PBA exempt players. We'll get back to Patrick Dumbrowski in a moment. Down at 11 and 12 is Dumbrowski. Has a chance to put up a game in the 260s in game 1. There you see Lauren Russo bowling in the women's classic division. Larry Verbal is in the senior classic division. And rounding out that lineup is Charles Trenopole, and Trenopole in the senior classic division. Verbal gets them all to go, and now let's get over to 11 and 12 as we have one Patrick Dumbrowski going to set a good pace early. Possible 269 for Dumbrowski. For Dumbrowski says, let's go over to Bobby Jekyll in the senior classic division. Is Jekyll looking for a strong finish? Can't get the 6 to go, so he's going to up in the 2-0 range. Could have gotten in the 230s. 14:38, the pace set by Chris Barnes yesterday in that senior classic division as he signed his scorecard, Ryan's dad. Ryan Barnes didn't have a great day on the lanes in the Open Classic division yesterday. Or pardon me, in the PBA exempt division yesterday. Barnes currently in third overall, put up a total of 1374. And Dumbrowski's going to come back to 240 on the head with a spare here. And clearing the deck on the fill ball. So your player movement after game one. Players are going to skip a pair, land on the second. So the players you see here on 11 and 12 will go to 15 and 16. 13 and 14 go to 17 and 18. And with some pairs and not being used on this squad, players you saw in 3 and 4 with Jekyll, Asbury, and Nasi, they go from 3 and 4 to 9 and 10 because 7 and 8 is a dead pair. So make sure you count your out-of-play pairs, including 33 and 34, on your player movement when you try to find your favorite player when they're clear. So player movement. And game 2 of this 6-game qualifying round. Just 7 squads remain in the 2025 PBA LBC National Championships. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. local time, noon Eastern. Matt Russo will be joining me on the stream. Let's see how Russo's going to finish his first game. And then 3 squads on July 5th and 6th with a lot of PBA pros. And on July 12th and 13th, a bunch more of the PBA exempt stars will be taken to the lanes. We'll go through the rundown of all those exempt players you can see here at Bolero Mount Prospect over the next 2 weekends. During game 2. And once again, your player movement. Skip a pair, land on the second here, getting into game number 2. Take a peek down on the pairing that has PBA exempt player Eric Jones throwing at it. Jones, 181 to start for the young man from Oklahoma. Won a PBA.
I hope you didn't get that on film. I got it all on
It's all on film. Every pair is on film there. As Mike Hermosillo stops by the booth. You didn't get that on film. Oh, we got it all on film. Every game, every frame, every pair on the PBA YouTube channel. Anyway, Eric Jones won with Dino Castillo at a PBA 50 PBA doubles regional right before the Tournament of Champions in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. Jones 53rd in points for the PBA Tour season this year. A little disappointing as compared to his finish of the season in 2024. Best finish for Jones was right up the road. At Bolero Vernon Hills with the 7th place finish in the PBA Owens Corning Illinois Classic. Now Jones trying to fight back from a bad early game in an open first frame. Bowling right next door to Jones will be the Russos with Larry Verbal. What a good start with a 235 game. And Charles Trenopole. Verbal leading everybody on that pair with 235. Matt Russo may have earned his second PBA Tour title in 2024 during the World Series of Bowling. And almost took down the PBA World Championship at EJ Tackett, took him out in that final stepladder match. Russo, not a good year on tour. Lots of tournaments with no visit to the pay window. Russo's best finish was a 17th place finish at the USBC Masters. And where he had such a great World Series of Bowling in 2024. Russo failed to make any money at the World Series in 2025. And when one usually thinks of the National Bowling Stadium in Reno kind of being a comfortable home for left-handers, that definitely was not the case this year. During the World Series of Bowling, it's definitely a comfortable facility for international players, with the number of international titles won. Let's see where Russo starts playing the lanes here as they made the move from 31 and 32 down here to 5 and 6. Same for Verbal. As Verbal creeps a bit high. So, boy, we've seen a lot of 7s for righties and a lot of 10s for lefties over the run of this LBC National Championships. That 4.5 to 1 pattern lets a lot of players with a lot of variety of styles get to that pocket. Just a matter of getting the ball to finish through. And take all 10 down repetitively, get some strings of strikes together. The man putting strings of strikes together right now, Patrick Dumbrowski in the PBA exempt division. Dumbrowski front 5 here in game 2. We will check in with our other couple of exempt players momentarily with Dio Bernard and Bailey Maverick. Dumbrowski looking for the front half. Oh, the wrap 10 says not this time. Let's check in on Maverick. Bowling on 25 and 26. Mavericks opening game 187. DJ Tackett's got to be feeling pretty good sitting at home right now. After watching the start of this squad as Maverick slices high. As he really only has one player on pace out of the 5 exempt players. Through a little over a game. Before Maverick shoots at the spare, let's get over to Bernard. Came back for 214 the opening game, and he's sticking with the backup ball. And he's got it rolling and going. Double, back-to-back spares, and a 3-bagger now for Bernard. Tell you what, for Dio. Another lefty didn't have a good year on tour this year, even though he won the Cheetah Championship at the World Series of Bowling in 2024. And Dio's really starting to get a versatile delivery. He's not afraid to use all 40 boards on the pair lanes, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if Dio started pulling right-hand dominant as needed. I mean, your left wrist can only go so far. With flexibility on that reverse hook for Dio. But when you can use all 40 boards on the lane to your advantage, that gives you a little bit of extra confidence bowling against opponents who can only use one side of the lane. We'll go to Maverick first. Or we'll go to Bernard first, then back to Maverick. Bernard keeps it rolling. Maverick, the 187 start, gets the 9 out. Let's see where Dio's dad, Rick, is sitting at after his first game, 221, and now Rick Bernard, phenomenal player in his own right, looking to get to 280 here in game 2 and stay ahead of his son. Oh, flat 10. So I think, well, I know one of the Duck Dynasty gentlemen passed away recently, but yeah, it could be one of the other ones. It's pretty interesting. Somebody brought up in the chat about a ball that I believe Lauren Russo is throwing. Now, it's interesting. Usually you see married couples, and they're both usually on the same staff. Not the case of Lauren and Matt Russo, as Matt Russo's on Motive staff and Lauren on Hammer or Brands of Brunswick staff. So I'm sure there's some squabbling around in there here and there. My brand's better. No, my brand's better. But as Sean Rash said years ago when he won PBA Player of the Year back in 2012, any player on the PBA Tour is good enough to win with any bowling ball that's made by any manufacturer. He was just lucky enough to have the right ball in his hand that particular year. And oh no, for Dio, gets the 7 down. Almost a like father, like son. So Russo looking for the front 4 there. We're going to go check in. We got a player down on 31 and 32 on the front 5. And Lauren Russo scrambles the rack. Kevin Payne, 246 for Payne's opening game. Payne in the Open Classic division now starting with the front 5 here in game 2. Looking to get to that halfway point here. There you go for Payne. And we've seen that line work for a lot of players early on in the block. We saw that yesterday with John Burkett with the PBA 50 guys. Just the tight, firm line. We saw that a little earlier today with Kobe Franklin. Had a great start until that tight line started causing some carry issues later in the block. There's another player using that reverse hook up the left side with Land Matthias. Let's see what Dio Bernard can do here for a finish. His dad already in the gates, 248. So Rick Bernard at plus 69 after 2. You multiply that by 3 to get 6 games. He'd be a little short of the pace set by Chris Barnes yesterday at 14:38. That's just incredible to watch. And while we were away on Dio, Payne, his run stops at 6 in a row, but still the chance to get to 279. straight by Dio. Dumbrowski finishes 258, so 495 for the first two for Dumbrowski. So with the comeback that Dio is making, to go with the solid start by Dio Bernard. The comeback by Bernard, the solid start by Dumbrowski. Got a couple players still trying to chase down E.J. Tackett. We got some Open Classic Division players trying to chase down Weston Griffin, and at 15 and 23 total. We'll go back to Kevin Payne, as Payne's looking to get to a 279 finish. And Lauren Russo trying to chase down the lead in the Women's Classic Division. And you just see Payne did not like that release. Let's see what Lauren Russo can do here. A 192 opening game, but that Women's Classic total for the lead right now is at 1324. It's also with a lot of other PWBA players coming into town next week before they make their way up to Green Bay for the PWBA 10th Anniversary Classic at world famous Ashwaubenon Bowl. And that will have a arena finals at the Resch Center, because the young players for Junior Gold will be in town getting ready to start their competition, and they're going to give them some great PWBA stars to watch in Green Bay. And if you can't make that arena finals, you'll be able to watch that 10th anniversary PWBA event on the CBS Sports Network. Kevin Payne still with a chance for 267. We'll go back to Verbal first. As Verbal had a solid start with 235 in the Senior Classic Division, but he's fallen back on his pacing this game. Can still get to 234, but he needs to strike out to do it. And lane 3, I think, has him a little befuddled. Probably lane 5. I count 20th board as 2 boards. That's how I get 40. Lauren Russo. Oh, how was nothing near that 9-pin? You see her that's not a laughing matter right there. How was nothing near that 9-pin? It's like, here's 10 pins and here's a 9-pin, and that's it. There was gone. Flash, blink of an eye. Unbelievable. Nothing within a foot of that 9-pin somehow. My goodness. How bowlers stay sane at the professional level week in and week out when you get shots that, wow, should carry and don't. My goodness. Now, if Matt Russo carries some flimsy little mixer here, let's see if Lauren gives him the business. I gotta be careful with how far. They are right in front of me on 5 and 6, and I know my voice can carry. And Matt just kind of lifted up on that one, and yikes. That was not good footwork for Russo right there. The 70-foot lane needed to be in play for Matt's ball to get back to the head pin on that shot. Chet, glad you enjoyed that joke of me counting fourth arrow twice. Because think about it, if you're counting right to left, from the outside lane to the middle, there's 20 boards to get the fourth arrow, and if you count first board on the left to the fourth arrow, there's 20 boards that way too. So there's 40 boards. That's my logic, and I'm sticking with it. Stepped out of that one just a hair, and you see why. Balance is off just a bit, and now the 2-4-8-10 for Lauren Russo. After Verbal throws, oh, and a bad finish for Kevin Payne. Hey, anything you can do, I can do just as well. Or better, I guess, since he got 7. Hook it across the face, send them all over, and only gets 3. There you see Payne open in the 10th, 233, but still sitting at 479 for 2. So he'll need to pick up the pace a bit, try to catch up to Weston and Griffin's 15-23. That was put on the board a couple of Tuesdays ago during the PBA Junior World Series of Bowling Special PBA LBC squad. So we'll join Patrick Dumbrowski momentarily, as your players are going to be moving after this game just simply a pair to the right. So Dumbrowski's probably already underway on 17-18. Yeah, spared in the first and struck in the second for Dumbrowski. So we'll join him momentarily. Thanks to everybody that's joining us here on a Saturday night on the PBA YouTube channel. I'm $2 Phil Brilo. We're into our 5th weekend of PBA LBC National Championships live streaming, and if there's certain players you want to see how they did here in the PBA LBC National Championships, like a Weston Griffin, like a EJ Tackett, like a Chris Barnes, all those live stream feeds are in the archive here at the PBA YouTube channel. And you can see exactly how they and others on their squads played the lanes, and yeah, that's because bowling and life is fair. Huh. Somebody joked around earlier in the chat about throwing it overhand. That could be a good option for this one. For Verbal, just give it a chuck. Haven't seen the 710 made here in quite a while at the PBA LBC National Championships. It'd be nice to see one now. Get a bounce. Get it. Oh, he got a tease. He got a tease. Oh, and speaking of 710s. Hi, Patrick Dumbrowski. Sorry we're coming down to you right after you just left the pocket 710 as well. Somebody's got to bounce one here. Oh, another little tease, but not all the way back out. And with Dumbrowski at 495 after 2, he's keeping pace with the score EJ Tackett put out there last Saturday, even by a couple extra pins, as Tackett finished with 1450. Let's see what Dumbrowski can do here to bounce back. Hey, Linda. Yeah, Facebook has gotten, I understand that a lot of times people don't watch older live streams, and now with Facebook putting their rule into place that we only hold your live stream for 30 days, yeah, some of our older stuff has definitely hit the wayside, and I know that tournament that Ryan won in Minster last year, that may have bit the dust on the PBA Central Region page. I don't know if I have an archive anywhere else on it. I will check, and I will let you know early next week. Always have fun doing PBA regional live streams, and some of you may be watching now. And hear my voice and think it's a little bit familiar. Yeah, I was part of the Extra Frame crew from 2014 to 2018, and then when Flow Bowling took over the live streaming for the PBA, I was with Flow Bowling from mid-2018 all the way through the pandemic. I was on one of the last flights out of Vegas from the World Series of Bowling in 2020 when that got shut down, and then I started my own live streaming service with 10 on the Deck Productions. I had a small live streaming service before that with other media production I was doing, but now expanded the empire, and glad for the third year in a row that the PBA has my company, 10 on the Deck Productions, which is basically $2 Phil as the talking voice, Phil Brylow as the producer, PJ Bry as the DJ extraordinaire, and my lovely wife Carrie as the head of finance. So we're basically a one-man crew most of the time. We go to PBA regional events. Get enough of a budget here at the PBA LBC National Championships. We get to bring a second person in the booth on occasion. Tomorrow, that'll be Matt Russo, PBA Tour player Matt Russo. He'll be on our squad, the noon Eastern time, 11 a.m. local here in Mount Prospect. The start time of that squad tomorrow. He'll be joining us in game 2 about 11:30, rolling us through a few games on that squad, so you'll be able to ask questions to Matt tomorrow when he's in the booth. I'm sure you're going to be able to ask him how much fun he had tonight, which he'll probably tell you very little. Lauren Russo, after that Stone 9 and then the 248-10, she also opened in the 10th frame for 222. So that women's classic score looking a little firm right now. Well, you mentioned it, Linda. Tripping fours is usually a Dumbrowski special. He tripped it there, but left the 9 pin after he sliced through. Matt Russo finished with 237 there in game 2. We'll join the Russos again in a little bit. We'll find Dio Bernard here. Dio up on 31 and 32. Still using the right side of the lane and using it pretty successfully. The big 249 game in game 2 has him at 61 over. And we'll have to see if he can start stringing a few strikes here. Try and keep climbing to try to catch up to Dumbrowski and Tackett. Check in on exempt player Bailey Maverick. There you see Maverick getting ready to step up, and wow. I understand leaking one right, but that's the first time I've seen an exempt player leave the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead, fill in your large straight on your Yahtzee score pad for 40 points. And he converts that spare. I guarantee you can go look at Lane Talk all you want, and I guarantee that's his first conversion of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all season long. Speaking on Eric Jones, Jones checking the approaches. He's just getting ready to get underway as the Russos just moved off that pair. Let's go back and see if Bernard can put a double on the board. And there you go. Little smile to his dad on the way back. Hey, Dad, you mind if I use your side? It's like, hey, Dad, can I borrow the car keys? Hey, Dad, I'm going to use your side of the lane tonight. It's probably going to help you out, too. Except Rick Bernard a little farther left than we see Dio, and yeah, watch out for that ball return, Rick. I know you really wanted that one, but yikers. Dumbrowski's in the new Cedar Point commercial? Wow, how about that? Gavin Neal, he's in the boys handicap division. Ooh, just gets that 5-pin down. Have him listed a 162 average. He's throwing it pretty well if he's got 504 with his handicap after 2. You'll see Dio go back to the normal hook, left to right for the 10-pin. Gavin Neal is getting 46 pins a game in handicap. Now at 1486, the leader currently with Cameron Witten in the boys handicap division. Chen's going to need to keep popping off, or pardon me, Neal's going to need to keep popping off 190 to 200 games on average in order to keep pace with what's on the board already with Cameron Witten. Dumbrowski pacing a little faster with his pairing. And after an open in the 7th, puts a strike up in the 8th, but he's looking at a max of 206 here in game 3. And once again, it's just tough for these bowlers. Patrick must have known what I was talking about him. He just walked by the booth. He goes, yeah, 17, lane 17 is real fun. At least he only has to see it for the foundation frame, doesn't have to see it for the 10th. have to get Neil Stremmel in here during Game 4. We'll talk a little bit about how, when it's not a full squad of lanes, what lanes are left out of play, and then also talk about how the player rotation works and why they rotate in a certain way, just like they do at PBA Tour events. But we'll get a little explanation from Neil about that during Game 4. No, Dumbrowski figures it out. Done with lane 17. I'm sure he's happy about that. Let's get back to Bernard and Co. As Rick Bernard looking for a 3-bagger, and boy, that wrap 10 in the beverage frame, that's pretty painful right now. He's got a double on either side of it, so there went 21 pins as he's trying to chase down that 1438 score of Chris Barnes. So Neil goes wide, so he's scoring pace definitely slowing down here in Game 3, but don't count him out. Earlier today, Terrence Snell had a rough game in Game 2 of his block. He made a nice bounce back games, 3, 4, and 5, put himself in contention. Try to take over the men's handicap lead. Still see the same for Gavin Neal, and a big comeback. Watch Steele Bernard making the charge, trying to get to 100 over after 3. And Rick Bernard's definitely going to be getting to 100 over by just keeping it clean in the 10th frame. He can get to 245 and get to plus 114 if he strikes out in the 10th. And Neil's got to slow down. He's got to take his time. He's got to gather his thoughts. You can tell the young man's getting a little frustrated with a pair of lanes that might be a bit different to play than his first 2 pairs, and you're going to get that crossing this house. Let's check in on Dumbrowski as he struck first ball of the 10th, but now a big 4. So that's going to leave Dumbrowski at 190, and he's falling back off that needed PBA exempt pace. Bernard still with a chance, 258. It's fun watching these young players just use so many different tricks. Backup ball. Backup ball makes them go back. Let's check in on the Russos with Verbal and Trenopole, as Verbal running into some problems since the great 235 game in Game 1 and now rapidly going backwards. Lauren Russo once again with a good start. She had the front 6 last game before a stone 9 derailed the pursuit of perfection. And Matt Russo with some work to do to get in contention in the PBA exempt division. You'll see Rick Bernard come into the left side of your screen. Already has the first strike on lane 31 in the 10th. Looking to get to 245. And there you go. He's going to be at least 110 over with a solid count on the fill ball. So they'll need to pick up the pace a little bit to get past Chris Barnes. But the way that Rick Bernard is throwing the ball right now wouldn't surprise me. If good things continue to happen, there you go, plus 114. Rick Bernard. Dio can't catch him. Dio can get to plus. Oh yeah, Dio can catch him, pardon me. Dio can get to 258 and get past him, be at plus 119. If Dio can get all three in the 10th. Lauren Russo did get the 5th in a row, so we'll be sure to join Lauren momentarily once Dio Bernard is complete with his 10th frame. And Jackson Coy making the comeback. Good toss by Dio. I'm hoping that Rick and Dio got in doubles. I think they were talking about it. I overheard them talking about it in the tournament check-in office a little while ago. I mean, plus 230 almost if Dio can get another one here. That'd be a pretty quality score in that doubles competition. Last year it took a ton, but Graham Fye had such a huge day coming out of the gates with an 840 series and then having Riley Smith shoot a ton as well. Oh, that's right. Fye closed with 840. He had a baby 790. Same for Riley Smith. Riley Smith at 800. They had 1598 for their winning doubles total. But still, this could be a really nice doubles check for Rick and Dio, as they're going to be 236 over for their first 3 games. That's your doubles total, and Lauren can't get the 10 to go. So a lot of the PBA 50 tour players that bowled yesterday in that special afternoon squad for Friday. A lot of them stuck around. They went and bowled a PBA 50, PBA 60 doubles regional at nearby Beverly Lanes. So we've got Eric Jones, Dio Bernard, Rick Bernard, all talking strategy behind the pair that Matt Russo's on, but Eric Jones is using the left side of the lane. Dio Bernard's throwing the right-handed hook using his dad's side of the lane. And I did mention it earlier. Earlier today, I thought I saw a video of Dio Bernard throwing right-handed. I was just talking to his dad there for a moment. And yeah, somebody did sneak the video out. It wasn't supposed to be released, but Dio is can bowl two-handed, right-handed as well now, and can average about 215 on house conditions doing it, and he's getting better all the time. So Dio may be one of the first players you see on tour. We've seen some backup balls before with Anthony Simonson and other players, including Dio. And we've seen some players that have gone from one-handed to two-handed, like Darren Tang, or even on occasion Walter Ray Williams Jr. Now we're seeing our first player going from left-handed two-handed to right-handed two-handed and being probably pretty darn successful at it. And as we're talking to Rick, tour conditions, and I've seen it oftentimes, and I can say this till I'm blue in the face, try to get people to believe me, the tour conditions and the way the lanes break down on tour is nothing that can be replicated off tour. Nothing. Not even a regional event might get you close if there's a lot of solid players in that regional. But your tour breakdown and the way the lanes play on tour, not even close to what you see at the national level. And as these young players learn to adapt, like I said, I'm counting that middle board twice. Use all 40 boards. As the Russos looking to finish strong here in this game, and Lauren's got a better chance to catch up to the women's classic score than Matt does to the PBA exempt score. But if they both put up a few more strikes on the board this game, finish off strong, it'll make for an interesting last three with these players. And your player movement between games 3 and games 4 is they're skipping 2 pairs landing on the 3rd. So the bowlers you see here on 9 and 10, they're going to 15 and 16, skipping 2 pairs landing on the 3rd. And remember, there are 3 pairs not in play on the squad, 7 and 8, 19, 20, and 33 and 34. So use those pairs and skip those accordingly as dead pairs if you're following a particular player on our pair by pair feeds. Get that 9 out of there. Come on, Lauren. Son of a gun. Another 9-pin thwarts a string of strikes for Lauren Russo, AKA Best Pate. Sorry, Josh. Sorry, Nick. Just having a little fun. Don't take it out on me next time you see me. I wonder if we're going to see Josh or Nick. During the PBA LBC run. Don't have them listed on an entry yet. Which is a bit of a surprise because Nick Pate had a 300 last year during the PBA LBC National Championships here. We saw Nick Pate on the last squad last year, and he did shoot the 300 in the opening game. Ended up finishing with 1486, sixth place in the PBA exempt division last year. So once again, this pattern at the PBA LBC National Championships seems to be playing a little less scoring overall than we saw the pace last year. That's a bit surprising for the exempt division, but once again, when you talk to some of these exempt players, and Chris Prather was a prime example of that last year with his second place finish. He goes, I made a tour move, and I got to realize here, I can't make a tour move, even though the tournament says PBA on it, because it's just the full mix of players, age ranges, average ranges, and such. And so once he stopped making the mistake of tour moves in the first couple of games, had a really solid finish to his LBC National Championships last year, ended up taking second overall, which last year was good enough to advance to the PBA LBC National Championships clash at Bayside Bowl in Portland. And we all know that final roll-off between Chris Prather and Gianna Brandolino, where Prather fell into the couch of concern after leaving a 7 count. Then Brandolino stepped up. Best week 10 she ever left in her life, because that week 10 on that single ball roll-off at the clash was good enough for $60,000. So once again, these players skipping 2 pairs and landing on the third if you're a Russo and Russo fan. I know there's even a Larry Verbal fan out there as well, possibly even. 5 or 6 Charles Trenopole fans. They're moving to 17 and 18. I'm sorry, they're moving to 15 and 16 after their finish here on 9 and 10. Great 258 game by Lauren Russo. So plus 72 gives her a chance to keep firing big games, get past that women's classic lead. And her husband Matt's going to have a lot of work in the last 3 games to get by EJ Tackett. And that big old split's not going to help Matt Russo's cause. Let's see what we can do here to convert the 2, 4, 7, and 10. Come on, shooter. Oh, just behind it. And a sub 200 game. It's pretty much going to be the end of any dreams of Matt Russo taking down the PBA exempt division. We'll have Patrick Dumbrowski coming to 25 and 26 momentarily. As we have some players already in game 4. We're going to take a little audio intermission here for a couple of minutes. It's game 4 getting ready to get underway. Here from Bolero Mount Prospect in Mount Prospect, Illinois. And there's still one more squad this weekend for the PBA LBC National Championships. And we'll have Matt Russo joining us in the booth. The squad will start at noon Eastern time. Matt Russo joining us about 12:30 after we get through our player introductions during game 1 on that squad. take a peek in on the foursome with the Bernards, along with Jackson Coy and Gavin Neal. Neal in the boys handicap division. Solid start. He's got a little work to do to get some pins back. Try to take over that boys junior handicap division lead, but Dio Bernard definitely would have EJ Tackett's attention if EJ's possibly watching on this Saturday night. I think he's just hanging out with his wife Natalie and his son Trip, enjoying a weekend home, a well-earned weekend home after they were here last weekend. And Rick Bernard keeping pace with what Chris Barnes put on the board yesterday here in the Senior Classic division. Dio, obviously, not the greatest start he was looking for, but he needs to find a few extra pins, as EJ Tackett was plus 250. Dio Bernard currently plus 117. And you still have your chance to bowl the PBA LBC National Championships. But just 2 weekends remaining. Tomorrow's squad is locked out, ready to rock and roll, sold out. Next Saturday, July 5th, there's plenty of open spots on the 9 a.m. squad. Your 2 p.m. squad for Saturday, 100% full on July 5th. And we have some PBA exempt pros bowling on the 5th. We have Chase Nadeau, Stu Williams bowling at 9 a.m. Christian Azcona on that sold-out 2 p.m. squad. Then on Sunday, July 6th, that squad only has 3 open spots left. There were 5 open spots when I started talking about these squads today, so people are signing up. Don't wait, because you could possibly have a chance to bowl with A.J. Johnson, Sean Rash, or Boog Kroll on that July 6th squad. July 12th, both the 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. squads have plenty of availability. Nate Stubler, PBA exempt pro, bowling on that 2 p.m. squad. And finish things off on Sunday, July 30th. That started with 4 spots earlier today. Now it's down to 2 spots for 11 a.m. for the final squad of this event on July 13th. And you could be on the same pair with Jason Sterner, Kyle Sherman, or Bill O'Neill. And I did see Brad Miller on the entry list, so one would assume the Brad and Kyle show will be in full effect here in Mount Prospect. Thank you. Rick Bernard running into a little bit of problems here with the golf count and the Hank Aaron tribute on the scoreboard with 44, but not the way you want to end a double and then have 50 in the third. So still plenty of room on some of those squads, especially on the 12th. If you want a chance to bowl with any of those other exempt pros on a Sunday, don't wait. PBA.com/LBC tournament. Get that entry in now, because otherwise those squads are going to fill up on those Sundays very quickly with the number of PBA exempt players that are bowling on those squads. And Dio back with getting 10 back. Take a peek in on Dumbrowski. Dumbrowski 85 over after 3 games. Starting here with a double. And a little turkey for Dumbrowski, yes indeed. Yeah, I'm still waiting on that information, John. I apologize. I was hoping to get that info on when Liz bowls. I'm going to send a reminder to the tournament office right now to see if I can get you that info before the end of the squad. Oh, Rick with a little bouncer back on the deck. Always bounces when you don't need it. Dio Bernard, Patrick Dumbrowski firing at the same time. Dumbrowski now has the front 4. Dio scrambles him up and puts a 3-bagger on the board. Take a quick peek in on PBA exempt player Eric Jones. As Jones on 13 and 14 on the front 6. Only 34 over for the first 3. See how deep Jones is getting, swinging it back in, and now front 7 for the man from Edmond, Oklahoma. So a couple PBA exempt players on front bunches. Jones on the front 7. Dumbrowski, who you'll see stepping up momentarily, looking for the front 5. Everyone scratch that thought. Front 5 for Dumbrowski. There's some great awards in the sport of bowling, but the one award everyone wants to take home with them from the LBC, above and beyond the prize money, is that mini Duke that you're awarded for a perfect game during the PBA LBC National Championships. Number 6 was earned yesterday for this year's edition, as Rudy Revs Kasimakis threw an opening 300 game. Thought Rudy was going to have a chance to take the overall Senior Classic Division lead, but a bit of a falter in the final game. Let Chris Barnes past, with Barnes shooting a big 258 game. Get a break. There you go, Eric Jones. Slap it out. I'm sure the pin deities owed you a carry or two over time. May as well take advantage of it right there. So we got Jones, front 8. Dumbrowski looking for front 6. There you go for Dumbrowski. Let's get back to Jones, as Jones is going to be looking for number 9. Number 9 for Jones. So our first chance at perfection here on the squad. That's coming out from PBA player Eric Jones. And here we go, Eric Jones. There you see him entering the right side of your screen, PBA exempt player. And he has a chance to put up a 300 game and earn the 7th Mini Duke of this 2025 PBA LBC National Championships. And the 6th, does it get a backdoor? Oh, the rack hit it. It does not count. Jones gave it a valiant effort. But they will have to respot that 6-pin for him. So we'll get back to that shortly once it's reset. Let's get back down by Dumbrowski. As Dumbrowski is going to have a chance for the front 9 down on 25 and 26. So we're making our way down with that camera again, down to 25 and 26. Give you a little closer look at Patrick Dumbrowski, as he'll be stepping up, looking for his Mini Duke. As I said, it doesn't matter if you're one of our handicap division bowlers or if you're one of the PBA exempt players. You want to get yourself a Mini Duke. If you can't take it all down with the big prize like Janet Brandolino did last year, like Tom Doherty did in the inaugural year of this event. If you can't take home the Big Duke, take home the Mini Duke. So let's see what Dumbrowski can do here. First ball of the 10th frame. Gets to go. There is 10 back. Dumbrowski sitting at plus 85 for his first 3 games, trying to chase down E.J. Tackett. E.J. Tackett currently leading the PBA exempt division at 1450 or plus 250. Perfect game here. We get Dumbrowski to plus 185. Great toss there by the roller coaster bowler, Patrick Dumbrowski. He had a chance to get up to Six Flags Great America, about 45 minutes north of Bolero Mount Prospect. Yesterday, got to ride a bunch of coasters in that park. And now he's looking to have the big drop into perfection here on his final shot. There you see Dumbrowski comes in, sets up, and there we go, the 7th perfect game of this year's PBA LBC National Championships, thrown by Patrick Dumbrowski, as he gets the congratulations from his fellow bowlers, and now he's really in the running to try to catch up to EJ Tackett for the PBA exempt lead. So let's check in with the Russos, Verbal, and Trenopole. As Verbal looking to make a big comeback. Started with 235, dropped a bunch the positive, but unfortunately his lane mates with Russo squared, dropping a bunch of pins on this pair on 16 and 17. So glad you enjoyed those extra shots by Patrick Dumbrowski. Brought to you by Mrs. $2 Phil. Carrie Bradlow helping out with the production on this squad. It's great to have her. Great to have Rogue Kafapi as well earlier today, helping out with some of the great extra shots we were bringing you. So your player movement between Game 4 and Game 5. Is going to be simply one pair to the right. So the Russos and Verbal and Trenopole are just going to be moving over to 17 and 18. So we're going to give you a little audio intermission. We'll get caught up with our players. And Game 5 coming up next year for the PBA LBC National Championships. Oh, the string ended at 12 for Dumbrowski. First frame spare here. In game 5, but Dumbrowski definitely in the hunt now. Chase down E.J. Tackett in the PBA exempt division. So we'll stick with Dumbrowski here for a little bit. We'll catch up on some of the other players shortly, as Dio Bernard's still an outside chance. Rick Bernard's still an outside chance of getting the PBA exempt or senior classic divisions respectively for Dio and Rick. See if we get an early opening. Well, not opening, first range spare, but a nice early double for Dumbrowski. Wow, that one really sliced high. But checking on the Bernards. Rick Bernard opened at 3-bagger. Dio waiting to shoot in the 4th frame after taking a re-rack. All players regardless of division in this event get treated just like a PBA player at any PBA event, as Bernard leaves the 4-pin going high with 2 re-racks per game before a tournament director would have to be called for any additional re-racks if there's severe problems. And Rick Bernard keeps the string going 4 in a row. It's so much fun watching Dio throw this backup ball, but we're going to get back to Dumbrowski first. He'll throw before Bernard. Dumbrowski, he's got that right lane down. Lane 27's treating him like lane 17 a little while ago, not being friendly. So Rick Bernard right now needs to get to 14:38. Take a tie with Chris Barnes. 14:39 actually gets him there. So Rick would need 5:18 for his last 2 games. Boy, if he gets away with a 277 here, can go off the sheet. That'll go a long way to trying to get past Chris Barnes. Yeah, once again, deal Bernard a long way as well. I'd say near impossible to get to the EJ attack at 14:50. It's not much different. Dio's got an extra spare in there already compared to his dad. Both pretty big achievements they're going to have to make their last 2 games to get there, but Rick Bernard just keeps stroking it nicely into the 1-3 pocket this game, and that's a 6-bagger for Bernard. So John Herman, we got you the answer. Keep your Sunday open. As next Sunday, July 6th, 11 a.m. is the scheduled squad for Liz Johnson. Of course, all scheduling is subject to change due to travel commitments and other possible problems, but we do have Liz Johnson on the schedule next Sunday. That's a noon Eastern, 11 a.m. start time for our Sunday squads here in Mount Prospect. So while we've been watching Menards try to maximize their pinfall, Land Mathias has been doing just that next door on 13 and 14. Popping the front 6. Kevin Payne had a good run early and has just really, unfortunately, fallen off the pace. And trying to come back, but only 44 over for 4. So Bernard can get to 256, and then he's going to have to be in the 260s. Game 6 to get past Chris Barnes. Theo Bernard can get to 239, and he's basically going to have to be perfect. He'll have to be in the 280s, if not beyond, once we do the final math to try to catch up to E.J. Tackett. Let's take a peeking up on 31 and 32 as Latasha Cole in the women's classic division. Not a good night for her so far, just 1 over. Through 4 games, that 801 total, but she's looking to put 290 on the board this game. Very outside chance of that getting her back into women's classic contention. You'll see Latasha come in to the left side of your screen momentarily after the spare conversion by Rob Wrongfoot Lucas. We'll get back to Latasha before she throws, as Dumbrowski, after that open frame in the 6th, looking to punch out for 227 and gets the messenger to take it down. So once again, another player's going to need another big game in Game 6, whether it be Dumbrowski, either Bernard, or all 3 to try to take over respective division leads. And unfortunately for Latasha, we're just throwing black clouds at people when we catch up to them tonight, as she leaves at 2-8-10. So Rick Bernard, 245. Mentioned he had 513. They're probably 518. So 245 game means that Rick Bernard needs 273 the final game to pass Barnes. Barnes put up 258 yesterday, so big games can happen. Deal will be at plus 170, so he'll need a 281 game to get past E.J. Tackett. So both the Bernards are going to need big games to try to challenge for their respective division leads. Check in on the Russos momentarily. Hasn't been a great night for Matt Russo. Well, let's get over there as he's on the front 5. Making front 6. I mean, unfortunately, though, for Russo of the Matt variety, even if he went 300-300, it would leave him 24 pins short of E.J. Tackett. And right now with Lauren Russo Only a plus 43 and on a bunch of marks, no doubles. She's basically going to have to run him off the sheet to try to take it past the leader in our women's classic division. With Margaret Ventella taking that lead over on the 9 a.m. squad this morning. Checking on Dumbrowski for the 10th frame. As we said, 227 the max. Oh, that 3-pin spun all the way off the deck. Made life a little interesting for Dumbrowski for a moment. So Dumbrowski can get to a 12-12 5-game total, which means he will need 239 the final game to get past EJ Tackett. So we're going to stick the final game unless we get some big strings with Patrick Dumbrowski. And here's the bad news for Dumbrowski. He's making the big news. He's making the big turn as our players are going to be skipping a bunch of pairs the last game. Dumbrowski skipping 3 pairs, landing on the 4th. So he's going from 27 and 28 down to 5 and 6. The good news from Dumbrowski, even though he just shot the 7th 300 game, of the PBA LBC National Championships in 2025 on lanes 25 and 26 as he leaves the 9 on the fill. 3 of our 7 300s have been shot on 5 and 6. So Patrick Dumbrowski down at 5 and 6, he's going to need to put up a 240 game or better to take the lead from EJ Tackett. I'd like to see Matt Russo go back-to-back 300s. It'll make the conversation tomorrow morning in the booth with Matt a lot more interesting and fun. It's not going to put him in the lead. So great toss there by Russo, front 7. Might have to get that camera warmed up again. Been a while since we've had 2 300s on the same squad by different bowlers. We did have 2 bowlers, or 2 300s on the same squad with 1 bowler, with Weston Griffin, a couple of Tuesdays back, as he went back-to-back 300s for his 8:33 start towards his 15:23 6-game total. Bad news from Dumbrowski. He's going to have to stay a little bit loose as they're just entering the 8th frame on 5 and 6. Bailey Mavick and crew on that pair. So we'll stick here with Russo through the final frames of game number 5. And we will then immediately join Patrick Dumbrowski in game number 6, down on lanes 5 and 6. And Russo takes down number 8. As we said, unfortunately for Matt Russo with the start he had this evening. No chance for the PBA exempt division lead. And Lauren Russo looked like she was going to make a run a little bit earlier, but her plus 43, it needs a lot of work. Basically off the sheet here and off the sheet next game to get past the current women's classic score of 13-24. I mean, not fully off the sheet next game, obviously, but keep it clean here. She can get to 213, and then she'll just need a huge game. Game 6. Easy. And then you got to wait and sweat your score. Next weekend is all the PWBA players come in, some other good ladies as well, and then of course your 2-time defending women's classic champion Liz Johnson bowling next Sunday, July 6th, on the same squad with Sean Rash, AJ Johnson. I'm sure Stephanie Zavala will be on that squad as well. She bowled on the same squad with Sean last year. And add Boog Kroll to that lineup on July 6th at 11 a.m. So yeah, another superstar squad. Will we see the nifty ninth for Matt Russo? Yes, we will. And another mini Duke might be going out the door. That'll make 3 of them so far this weekend. We had a couple bowlers that were close with 289s as well, including our women's classic division leader, Margaret Ventella. Ventella had the front 10 before a vicious solid 9. Ended her string, but she held on long enough to take over the women's division lead by a pin at that already mentioned 13-24 number. I mean, don't fully count Lauren Russo out of it yet. She'll be 56 over. So she needed a 269 game to pass Ventella, but it can happen. You just got to keep striking. There you see Matt Russo waiting to get ready to go here for his chance at perfection. We just had a 300 last game here at the PBA LBC National Championships by PBA exempt player Patrick Dumbrowski. Now we're looking for our second in 2 games with this man right here, Matthew Russo. Russo not having anything exceptional on the night so far until he hit game 5 of this qualifying block. But now he's looking for his tasty 10th in a row, looking to get that mini Duke. You see the Big Duke trophy on the backdrop. And Matt Russo with strike number 10. Russo staying cool, calm, collected. And unfortunately for Matt, even if you were to strike out all the way through the end of game 6, wouldn't have enough pins to take down our current leader, E.J. Tackett, as Russo would end up being 24 pins short. But let's get Matt out of here in game 5 with a mini Duke, and that'll make him real exciting to talk to tomorrow, as he's going to be joining me in the booth on the noon Eastern, 11 a.m. local time squad here for our final of 5 squads of PBA LBC National Championships action this weekend here from Bolero Mount Prospect. You see that 11th strike go up on the scoreboard. It hasn't been the greatest of years on the PBA Tour for one, Matt Russo. But he's looking to make a mark here in Mount Prospect and looking to make it the 8th 300 thrown at the PBA LBC National Championships here in 2025. A little extra drawing on that guide hand in the front. And let's see if we can take down another 300 game. Russo can't get it done. 299 after that 3-pin for Matt Russo, falls just short. So just give us a couple of minutes here as we're going to follow Patrick Dumbrowski. He'll be down lanes 5 and 6. They are just getting ready to get on board. And we will have game 6 coming to you shortly here from Bolero Mount Prospect. Will we see a new leader in the PBA exempt division? We'll find out in 10 more frames. All right, before we get down to Patrick Dumbrowski, as we mentioned, real outside chances for Rick Bernard and Dio Bernard to get to the lead in their respective divisions. Rick in the Senior Classic and Dio in the PBA exempt. Of course, Dio also chasing down Patrick Dumbrowski on this squad. Dio at plus 170. So he needs a 281 or better to take the lead. Well, obviously, he's at 280, so the best he could do is tie. Rick Bernard, though, coming off a 245 game. So that ends Dio's chances, and especially with an open frame, for his chance to take over the PBA exempt. As Dio and Rick comparing notes on the last couple of shots. for Dio. Dumbrowski starts 9 spare, just underway, so we'll stick with Bernard here until it's mathematically impossible for Bernard to get past Chris Barnes. As Barnes put up his total yesterday and a solid 9 for Bernard. Yikes. He's had a couple of those this evening. Barnes is 1438. Means Rick Bernard needs to go off the sheet at this point in time to pass Chris Barnes. 273 is what's necessary. He can't even afford a spare on this shot. I'll give you the radio call on Dumbrowski for his second frame, and Dumbrowski goes flush, carries, so Dumbrowski opens spare strike. Rick Bernard, still alive, needs to go strike, 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 strike. Needs the last 7 in a row. He's got number 1 of the 7. Needs to get himself 6 more, at least 5 more, than good count on the fill ball. As once again, he needs to get to 273. To pass Chris Barnes. Great run tonight by Dio, though, going to the backup ball, the reverse hook, the wamboozle, whatever you might want to call it. And the left side wasn't looking good for him. Wasted no time going to that reverse hook, and then once he got comfortable, wow, he was putting some big numbers up there for a bit. And the 4 doesn't go. Hey, you know what? Deal, leave some carry for your dad for the next few shots. Let's get over to Patrick Dumbrowski, third frame. And there's the double, as we mentioned, and we'll keep mentioning. 240 is the magic number. For Dumbrowski to get past E.J. Tackett. Oh, and that's it for Rick Bernard. No chance of catching Chris Barnes, unfortunately, but can still get himself a solid finish, get himself into the top 5 in the Senior Classic division. Let's join Dumbrowski as he's getting ready to bowl frame number 4. As we mentioned, this has been a relatively high-scoring pair during this event. 3 of our 7 perfect games thrown on 5 and 6. Oh, there's a big bird in this situation for Dumbrowski. Gobble, gobble, gobble. But still, a ways to go. For the leader of the roller coaster bowlers. I know I got that wrong. I know the Facebook group is different than Team Coaster Bowlers. Oh, it is Team Coaster Bowlers. I was right. Son of a gun. Never doubt yourself. $2 Phil. Never doubt yourself. As it was said earlier in the chat by Chet Stiles, that's right. I'm correct 90% of the time, 100% of the time. And that was one of those times. That was correct. Another strike here goes a long way. Four in a row. Oh, trip the 7, trip the 9. You can see with that fist pump right there. Dumbrowski is feeling it at the moment. Goes back, sits down, takes a rest, takes a sip of water, and stands smooth with 5 frames of his block remaining. Thanks everybody who's tuning in a little late in the block, trying to see if that score by E.J. Tackett will be surpassed by Patrick Dumbrowski. Dumbrowski with a 300 game in game 4 to help the comeback, and now needs a 240 game to take over the lead in the PBA exempt division. $5,000 guaranteed on top, and that berth in the PBA LBC National Championships clash. In the PBA exempt division, all of our division winners for all 8 divisions will be invited to the clash. Date and venue to be announced sometime soon, one would expect. Dumbrowski looking for the 5th in a row, staring it down. There you go, make it happen. As Patrick comes back and sees tournament director Neil Stremmel doing some stretches to get the blood flowing. Yeah, we've all been here since 6:30 local time this morning between Neil, myself, and the tournament staff, and I can see why Neil's doing a little stretching right there. Keep the blood flowing. I just stood up to stretch myself after watching you do those little side bends. It's been a long day. Yep, it is. We are a dedicated staff here at the PBA LBC National Championships, doing whatever we can. And we want to make sure every bowler gets their PBA Tour-like experience here at the PBA LBC National Championships. And right now, Patrick Dumbrowski putting on a PBA Tour-like show. Past 3 games. 300, 226, and now looking still for a possible 290 here in game 6. We're going to peek in on Rick Bernard's finishing score. 238, so I believe that's going to have him third in the Senior Classic division. Oh, could be fourth. We'll get that final tally later. Right now we're concerned about the Patrick Dumbrowski possibility of taking the PBA Elite Division lead. Oh, no, are you kidding me? Wow. What a terrible time for that 7:10. Unbelievable. On the 5-bagger, Ripper 7:10 trying to take the lead, needs 240 to get there. Let's see if he just tries to take the one. Make sure you don't lose count. Oh! Almost for Dumbrowski. That would have been a huge momentum swing. My goodness. So Dumbrowski's going to need a 3-bagger. At least, and most likely a 4-bagger here. He can finish with 256. He needs 240. So he needs a 3-bagger with good count. He can spare in the 9th and spare in the 8th and punch out 9 and 10. Let's see what Dumbrowski can do here. As we said, he's got a little room. If he spares here and then gets a 3-bagger, he'll be in the 240s. Asks it to hold, and it does. So here we go with Dumbrowski. 9th frame. Carries him out. Patrick, you got to come back and bowl the 10th. So Patrick Dumbrowski is going to need the first shot in the 10th frame. He'll need the first strike and then solid count. As if he were to go 9 spare strike, he would be at 235 and he'd fall 4 pins short of EJ's Tackett's 1450. There you see Dumbrowski just biding his time, waiting to bowl in the 10th frame. And you can't blame him. Nothing you can do until you get up there. Looks like he's checking the rosin bag, making sure everything's good there, checking everything in the backpack, and just hanging cool until it's his turn to bowl. his lane mates, just trying to get out of the way. I think they know the situation as well. They've seen how good Dumbrowski's been bowling all night long. So for those of you joining us late here at Blair Mount Prospect, Patrick Dumbrowski, 300 game. A little earlier this evening in game 4, and now he's in contention to take the PBA exempt lead away from E.J. Tackett. Taking a peek at his scoreboard there on lane 5. He needs a 240 game to get past Tackett. That means right now he needs the first strike in the 10th and then solid count to round out the frame to take the lead. Dumbrowski set on the approach. This one for the lead. Steps it out. He loves it. You see that fist pump. And now just basically keep it on the lane with good count, but we know he's going to be firing for that pocket one more time. Can get to 256 for this game. If he does, he will end up at 1467, a 17-pin topping of E.J. Tackett's previous leading score in the PBA exempt division. Let's see how big of a lead Dumbrowski can get himself. Still a ton of PBA exempt players to go, including tomorrow at 11 a.m. with Andrew Anderson, Chris Prather taking to the lanes. Another great toss. Boy, if you get that pocket 8-10 back in the 7th frame for Dumbrowski, he could be sitting on 290 and he could be sitting on 1501 right now. And he almost made that 7-10. 10-pin gave a big tease on the way back towards the 7-pin side of the pit. Didn't come all the way out to take it. But how about this for Patrick Dumbrowski? 300, 226, and now a possible 256 to take the Open Classic Division lead. There you go. 9's fine on that last shot. You see the thumb go up. 1466, your new leader on the PBA exempt division. And there's the man that did it, Patrick Dumbrowski. Look for an interview with Patrick coming up tomorrow morning on the PBA LBC National Championships. And your next squad is coming up tomorrow, noon Eastern time. Is your start time for our final of 5 squads this weekend from the PBA LBC National Championships for the best production assistant ever, Kerry Brylow. I'm $2 Phil Brylow. Parents, take the kids bowling because you know they're going to have fun for life, and we will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. local, noon Eastern, with Matt Russo in the booth.